Hey everyone, August Severn here with Capital Data Analytics. Today I just want to go over a marketing KPI dashboard from our Catalyst program, just to kind of give an idea of what that free KPI dashboard is in that program. So this is a dashboard that's actually being used for our clients. The data isn't real; it's been simulated. So if it looks a little weird, it's because it's simulated data. So I'll start the walkthrough here. At the top, you can see, we give an outline of when the data is fresh through. That's important, depending on the process. In this case, it's, every day, so it should be up to date. Obviously, the last time this data was ran was a little while ago. The next is our observation periods. So really what we're wanting to do is, when you have some kind of metric that's descriptive, should be benchmarking it against something. So in our case here, we have projections. So those would be the benchmarks from the business user. And then we have our month over month measurement, which would be your benchmarking against last month in this case with that month over month measurement. This bookend just kind of allows you to set what period you're looking at. So right now it's 12/31 of 22. So what we're doing is on this month over month period, so we're looking at December's data, and then we're comparing it to November's data. Would be the the month over month piece, obviously. If we're changing this to quarter over quarter, it would do all the calculations to understand. Okay, we're at this point in the quarter. We want to compare it to the previous quarter in this point, etc. So it has all that logic kind of built in, and then you have year over year calculations. So if I instead wanted to say, okay, what are we doing right now in December? Okay, what were we doing last December? So instead of comparing it to the previous month, you'd be comparing it to what did we do last year in the same time period. And all that takes into account, what date are we looking at, etc. So that's the first kind of filtering that's going on here. The second piece is here's kind of the main metrics, and these are rolled up from things. So for instance, we're talking about users, that's across many different channels. So that could be, your YouTube users, your TikTok users, your Facebook users, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So keep that in mind when there's some of these like engagements, impressions, and all that. That's a kind of a culmination of multiple channels. So obviously you'd want to drill in to kind of see individual channels as well. So the nice thing about these KPI metrics is, you got the big number here, you got your comparison to projection, comparison to whatever time period our comparison period is. And then we also have a little spark line here to just kind of show you the overall trend. So for users here, oh, we've been growing over time. The other piece in these KPIs is you can click them to filter. So the colored one is the one that's going to show down here in our over time view. So you can go through and click all of these, kind of see how they look over time. So the next piece is this over time view. So basically it's taking the information on the top pane and then just giving you a drill down over time. It's easy to see. Current year is this gray line. How are we doing against our projection? How are we doing against the prior year? In this case, the prior year was really low, so it doesn't look that exciting, but that's how that works. And then finally, just to see it a little bit different way, sometimes it's helpful to see things in a table instead of this, visual format of the time series. So if I'm looking at this, I can say, okay, in this line chart, I get a good idea that, yeah, we're trending above, prior year, but what is that actually on a real number basis? And without looking at the tooltip, I can go down to this table and say, okay, current year in December, we're doing 5.5 or 5.4 million users. Our projection was only 1.7 million users. And then, last year we were doing 479,000. So that growth is huge, right? And we can see these little, green triangles to tell us like, yep, it's up. The actual number is, pretty big. Obviously, simulated data, that's why some of these numbers are a little crazy. But in general, that's how this KPI dashboard works. The idea behind this is you need to set a baseline kind of in your first year, and then after that, you're going against the benchmark of that baseline, and then you can also create projections off of that. So you want to make sure that you're measuring your data, not just bringing in the data and setting it in a warehouse. So I hope that was helpful.